me, Linda Marcus Smith, with Comic Spot. And Comic Spot was created so this Army veteran can vet out veterans of comedy. And today we have a veteran of New York comedy. And as you know, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. And Vishnu is doing that in New York. We're going to get to know him, but I'm going to first read you the introduction that he sent to me. I don't want to steal his words, so I have to quote him. Let that be a lesson to you guys. Don't steal each other's material. Vishnu Vaka is a stand-up comic. He's sitting down right now, but you get the point. He performs all over America, all over. Originally from India, he went through 14 schools by the time he was in 5th grade. Holy Toledo. He moved to the US as a teenager. That's a big switch. He got fat and became an American citizen in that order. He has priorities. Vishnu is the best stand-up comedian on the land, and he is also a very extremely good-looking man, as you can see. So welcome to the little stage here at Comic Spot, Vishnu Vaka. Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Linda? How are you guys?
Yes, they're here. They're going to watch. Some will watch later. But for you and me, let's get to know each other and let them just watch like they're peeking in our window.
Yep.
So tell me about this. I started in India.
You got cut off there.
Tell me about how your life started in India. What kind of life did you have?
It was my dad is a doctor. But the thing is, he likes moving, so he was always moving, getting new jobs, and being a doctor, it was easy for him to get a new job.
Yes.
So we were moving a lot. So I moved all over India. We lived in Delhi, which is you can hear me, right?
Yeah, could be a little louder, but I can hear you.
Okay, I lived in Delhi. I lived in South India. I'm from South India, a state called Andhra Pradesh. But we moved all over the place. And then one day my dad decided we're going to move to America. So that's what happened.
He just up and said, "Oh, let's go to America."
Yep.
And how did you take that? Because you were a young teenager, just in your prime.
Yeah, initially I didn't know what to expect. Like I remember when I was really young, I was like, I want to go to America. When I was really young, people told me it's really cool in America. So I was like, I want to go there. But back then my dad is like, no, we're staying here. And then right when I'm like settled and I'm like, I got some friends here, I'm all good. My dad is like, yeah, let's move to America. And when I moved to America, to tell you the truth, I can't put a place to it. Like I can't put a picture to it. All I could imagine is like this dark place with trees with no leaves. That's really all I could think of. That's really all I knew about America. And I was kind of scared because basically I'm coming here. I have no clue. I mean, I literally uh, can't even pronounce the street names.
Me neither. They're mostly in Spanish.
Yeah. So it was different. It was and the other thing is, like in India, I was a majority. I was part of the majority. Uh, and then I come here and I'm a minority, and everything that's normal for me is not normal here.
Yes.
So where I was in India, I would be like looking at other people, like I wonder how they live or what they do, like other than how we regular people do. Whereas here, other people are asking me that, like, how do you guys live? Than how we regular people live, and it was a little bit jarring in the beginning.
I bet. How was it transitioning into American school?
Yeah, it was. The thing was, when I moved here, I moved in June, and school didn't start until September. So I had good like 4 months. And what my parents told me is like the best way to learn English is to watch TV. So so I had a free reign to watch as much TV as I want, which
Wow.
was good. But at the same time, I couldn't go out because in India, I could get on my bicycle and go anywhere I want, hang out with my friends, go to movies. And in America, you need a car to go anywhere. And my
Yes.
dad takes the car to go to office, so I'm stuck at home. So all day, all I'm doing is, watching TV. And my introduction to school is Saved by the Bell.
Ah, I love that show.
Oh yeah, I love that show. And it kind of funny because I was expecting similar school.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't that bad. School is not bad. To tell you the truth, like the first thing was when they told me I could pick my own classes.
Mhm.
I was like, why would anybody pick like hard classes like maths and science? So I signed up to like two PE classes, one like bank check writing course, and one typing. It's like all these classes that like are like easy. And then I think after 6 months into my school, my our vice principal pulled me over and he's like, listen, when you sign up next semester, you need to sign up for some maths and science and these things, or else you won't be able to get into any colleges. So it was fun. And other thing was English, right? They had three different levels. They had basic, they had honors, and they had AP. So naturally, I signed up for basic because I'm not a good. English is my second language. And when I went to school, in my basic English class, there are kids trying to make fun of my English, and I'm like, dude, you are taking basic in your own language. You can't be making fun of my language.
That's hilarious. Good for
And
you.
yeah, and the other incident I remember was Simpsons. I just started watching Simpsons. I didn't know much about Apu. When I walked into the same basic English class, there is this kid called Mike, and as I walk in, he would be like, "Could you say come again? Thank you, come again." And I didn't know why he was asking me to say thank you, come again. And I would say it, and he would get a kick out of it. And then I found out I was like, okay, he's making fun of me. There's nothing good here. But I wanted to get back at him. And one day, he was trying to sneak out of the class. The teacher was facing the board, and he was sneaking out, and everybody is not looking at him. And I looked up, I said, thank you, come again. And that just, everybody started laughing. And after that, he never did that again.
Oh, perfect. It's a great way to get rid of bullies.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
other than
the
that, it was good. Like all the kids are good. In fact, in my senior class, someone decided to nominate me to senior class president. They thought it would be funny to nominate me because I don't know what is going on, and I thought it would be funny to run. So I went ahead and ran, and I actually got second most number of votes. So I'm not complaining. I'm very happy about that.
yeah, that's awesome.
So that was a fun experience.
Yes. I ran for office once too, and I didn't have a speech. All I did was got up on stage and I said, everybody had these long speeches, and I just got up there in high school and I said, vote for me, and got off the stage, and
Yeah,
they voted me in.
yeah, it was pretty similar to what I did because even for me, I mean, my problem is nobody understands my accent, and then my speech, I'm like, I need to do something different. So my speech was pretty much like, we are seniors, we don't need any speeches, vote for me.
I
That was
love
it.
it. I love it. So the transition came to you at age 14, and you did well, and you got rid of bullies, and it helped you through school, and you loved the sitcom Saved by the Bell. And at some point, Vishnu, you said, Listen, Dad, I know you're a doctor, but you're a bit of a vagabond risk taker, moving all the time. So what's
Yeah.
the big deal if I go and do comedy? How did that conversation go?
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't start comedy much later into my life. I got into filmmaking earlier. So when I told my dad I'm going to go do films in New York City, he was worried. He was like, you don't know anybody in the city. We were living in Ohio. Um,
Wow. What
I
city
was
in
like,
Ohio?
yeah, Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And one day I packed up my car, put everything in there, and came to city. And he I know he's worried, but at the same, my mom is very brave. She's like, let him go do it.
Oh,
My dad is more like, he takes risks, but he
okay.
doesn't want me to take the risks.
Yeah.
But my mom is like, no, let him go do it. So he couldn't say no to my mom. So he didn't stop me. When it came to comedy, it's more like by now I got a job, and comedy is a little bit different because I don't have to do it full time. I could do other job, so I have a living wage that I'm making, and this is something I'm doing, without hurting my lifestyle.
What's
So
your day job?
I'm a programmer, IT
Okay.
programmer. Yeah. Um,
Nice.
thanks. It's one of those
Notice
things.
I did not assume that you were.
I know you didn't, but it's one of those things you get into because everybody else around you is doing it, and it's good money, and it's actually pretty creative if you think about it. Like, a lot of times it's not just writing a code to make it do something. You also
Yes.
make it do it efficiently, and so there's a lot of creativity that goes into it, and how you make it, the look, and a lot of times even the web programming, if you think about it, there's a lot of thought goes into like the colors you use and the look and feel of the page, and so it's not
It's
entirely boring.
it's just like writing comedy.
Yeah, it is.
They're similar. You
Yeah,
have to
like,
think.
also, yeah, and also how you guide them from page to page, like where do you want them to go. So there's a lot of thought that goes into programming. I got
Yes.
this fly that's bugging me.
So your parents, are they still in India? I mean, Ohio now?
Yes, no, they moved to Florida. They like the warm weather, so they moved to Florida.
Well, now that global warming is taking over, maybe your father will stay in one place.
Yeah, I mean, since we moved to America, we didn't move that much. We were in Columbus for a while, almost 10 years, and then
A long
and
time.
then he moved to Florida. So yeah, he settled down a little bit.
Does he love your comedy?
Um, he's very funny himself, so I know he likes it. But he's also, I think he's kind of old school in a way that he thinks that if he says I'm good at something, it will get to my head that I won't do my best. So
Yes.
he's very reluctant in giving compliments.
Yeah. I
He'll be like, it's all right, you can do better. I mean, this is something that he does, like, since I was a kid. Like, it's
yes.
very hard for me to get a compliment out of him.
You're on to his game. It doesn't fool you.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I mean, yeah, and I mean, he I know he's proud. I can see that, but at the same time, like, I know him, so it doesn't bother me.
Yes, absolutely. So, when you decided to get up and do comedy, what was the first night like when you got up? What club was it at and how did it go? How scared were you?
Yeah. The thing is, like, I've been told that I'm funny for a very long time. In
Yeah.
fact, one of my things is whenever I move schools, a lot of times the easiest way for me to make friends is telling stories. A lot of times in India, what happens is if a teacher doesn't show up, by the time they find a substitute, the class is empty. Like, nobody is taking care of the class. So usually principal walks in and he would pick me out and he said, Vishnu, come on up and tell some stories.
Oh, wonderful.
So I have experience telling stories since I was like maybe in my third grade, fourth grade.
Wow.
Initially, I used to read some books and tell those stories, and then I ran out of them, so I started making up my own stories.
Rewrite the books.
Yes, yes. So that's I have that experience, and a lot of people, all my friends, they always told me I'm funny, I should do it. But what really got me is when my wife is like, you know what? It's not, you're not a filmmaker. It's not, filmmaking is like you don't have the patience to tell a story and bring it on screen. You are one of those people that you have a story, you want to tell it yourself. So I think stand up is better for you. You should try stand up. And that's when I was like, until then I really didn't think about stand up. It's funny that, you know, I was like, with my accent, maybe it might not work out. People don't understand what I'm saying. And then when she's like, no, you should go try it, I'm like, okay, if she says I should try it, I mean, who else am I supposed to impress, right?
Yes.
If I'm going to make a fool out of myself, then I could just blame it on my wife.
There you go. Easy out.
So yeah.
If
So
it doesn't go well in New York, you can just move to Ohio.
yes. So I went to Catch a Rising Star in Princeton. They used to have Thursdays open mic. I went there. I was really afraid. I had some stories I wanted to tell, but I was kind of scared. And then I waited till everybody is done. And then it's an open mic. So everybody turned around and they looked at me. They're like, it's your turn. I went up and people were really, really. I think if I had done a mic in New York City, maybe I might not have, went back. But at Catch Princeton, people were like really friendly and they all listened to my jokes and they laughed and they gave me pointers, things that I could fix. So, and then they stopped doing those mics. So I didn't have any place to go. And then I ran into Kevin Hart wrote a book, if you something about I don't remember the title, but he wrote a book and basically he talked about how he became a comedian. And in that, he said, if you shouldn't be afraid of going to places that, I mean, if you really want to make it, you should go to places that scare you. And New York scared me, and I was like, you know what, that's where I'm going to go. And I was literally thinking of these like really big dudes that are like going to make fun of me and beat me up, or uh,
Yes.
I mean, I thought of all these scary scenarios, and then I went up there and I had fun, so I kept on doing it.
So, how many years have you been doing it? What are some of your favorite clubs in New York?
I've been doing for about 5 years now. My favorite clubs. I mean, I like all. The thing is, I hate open mics in New York, but I like all the clubs. My favorite clubs are actually in Jersey. There's a club called Stress Factory.
Yeah.
Winnie Brand Stress.
Vinny Brand.
Yeah, Winnie Brand Stress Factory is my favorite club. And Catch, I love Catch. It's like, I started there, and Mike Tomasino runs it. He helped me out a lot. Like, he gave me so many spots. Um, uh, but so those two are my favorite clubs. I'm always, even if I don't have anything to do, any shows, I just go and hang out at one of those clubs, depending on who's coming that day.
So, like,
So
when you're in New York,
yeah,
you can travel like within a certain number of miles and not be considered a road comic. But
yes,
are you also a road comic or open to going
yes, I
around the
am.
United? So you go
Yes, I am. Yeah,
you
I
still will go anywhere in the U.S.
yeah. In fact, I met Josh Blue um, at um, at Chess Factory. He really liked my set. I got to do a guest spot, and he told me, "Hey, I'm always looking for comedians to open for me. You're really funny. Stay in touch." So I stayed in touch with him, And then I asked him a couple of times if I could open for him. But the thing is, he, even for him, like, he only saw one of my guest sets. Like, he doesn't know how good I am. So he was like, okay, I'll let you know. I have a few other people. So what I did is I looked up wherever he's going, and I asked him if I could come there and hang out, and I went to meet him and hang out with him. And he offered me a couple of more guest spots, and I did well. And he said, you know what? And the thing is, I made sure to do different sets each time he saw me, so
Smart.
he knows that my material is not just the 5 minutes he's seeing. There's a lot more to it. And then around third time he said, you know what? I need to get you paid somehow. We'll figure out something. And then he called me a week or two later, and he said, I'm coming to Hartford, and I don't have an opener. I mean, the guy that's supposed to open for me bailed. Uh, would you come? I said, and he's like, how many minutes do you have? I said, I have 30 minutes. He said, okay, come on by. And then I started opening for him. So I traveled with him to Ohio. I went to Hartford. I went to Syracuse. I went to. I'm actually going to be at Kansas Improv end of this month with Josh Blue.
Wonderful. Yay.
Thank you.
That's something to really celebrate. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the things Kevin Hart taught. I mean, that's one of the things I would tell any comedian. If you want to get into comedy, you got to read that book, because a lot of the things he talks about, like, the perseverance and like showing up and building relations, and a lot of things people don't tell you. You got to figure them out. And when someone like that big tells you, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to have an ego. I'm just going to go there, and even at stress, I'm like, I go there and hang out, and they saw me do a couple of guest spots, and the people that work there, they liked me. They told Winnie that um, that I'm funny, and Winnie started letting me open. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things Kevin Hart talks about, they're true. Like, I would suggest anybody to read that.
Do you know the name of the book?
Um,
Or maybe you can get it to me.
I will message it to you.
Okay. Yeah. Now, before we go, because this is just your initial interview. And now that you're a graduate of Comic Spot, you can come back anytime and promote anything. When you're going to be in Kansas with Josh Blue, come on and promote it, etc.
I will.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So you of course, you went and sent me the places on Instagram, etc. Do you have a podcast?
I don't have a podcast right now. I'm really focusing on having more material.
Yes.
I did shoot a 40-minute special.
Where can I see that? Where can people see it?
Well, it's still in the. Yeah, I'm still working with Amazon Prime to get it up there. So.
Do you have a name for it when it comes out?
Yeah, it's called Self-Driven.
Self-Driven?
Yeah, it's actually one of my jokes about elephant penis. But yeah, I will update you as soon as it's going through the process. And right now with the COVID,
We're on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Do you want more followers, Vishnu?
My handle is at comic_wish, VISH.
That's where
Yeah, at comic_wish, but with a V instead of a W.
Yes, and that's your handle everywhere.
That's my handle on TikTok, Instagram, and even on YouTube. If you do a comic wish, you will see me.
Wonderful. We'll get some people out following you.
Thank you so much.
You have a day job, so you don't need to tell me a Venmo or Cash App, right? You're doing okay.
Yeah. I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I would rather other comics who need it get it than I
So many are suffering.
I
But if
know.
you,
Yeah.
thank you for noticing that. If you wouldn't mind closing
Yeah.
us out with a funny answer to a very serious question.
Okay.
So it's very serious that we're having a pandemic. That's not
Yes.
funny. But
Yes.
what's funny is how people go through a pandemic. So
Yeah.
what have you seen on TV or in when you go to the store where people are just cocoa for cuckoo for cocoa puffs, mashugana nuts, doing stupid. What are some funny things you've noticed that can make us laugh about the pandemic?
Well, a couple of funny things I noticed just staying at home. For example, your breakfast. I used to, people say breakfast is the most important food. Um, don't skip your breakfast because every time, if you want to skip a meal, skip your dinner. Because I noticed if I skip breakfast with nothing to do at home, I am depressed. But with dinner, because I'm trying to lose weight, so with dinner, if I skip a dinner, I just fall asleep and it's okay. So
Yeah.
that's one. And then I the other thing is like with the whole debate with the masks, I kind of find it funny that in America our biggest problem is who's wearing a mask. The rest of
Totally.
the world is like worried about food and other problems, and
Running
COVID is not.
water.
Yeah, COVID is really not their primary problem, even though a lot of countries are shut down.
It's such a first world problem, you know?
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
want something to suffer with, um,
We're trying
if
so hard.
yeah, we just want to we just want drama, that's why we have this mask controversy and
Yes. People like to suffer. I think they're trying to be Jewish like me. It's a very
no,
Jew.
no, I'll give you a serious answer for that. Jewish people suffered a lot. I would not compare anyone suffering to what they went through. And I mean, of course, black people suffered a lot, and
Yes.
a lot of people suffered. But I mean, to have in such a short period of time, within those few years to happen, that is enormous damage to any race. And you know
Yes.
I would never ever be able to I mean, I think I can't comprehend what those people went through. I really
Yeah.
can't.
My dad, he went through concentration camps.
Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, reading about that, a lot of times it brings me to tears because it's like you are living a good life, a car and a house and a good job, and within days to lose all of that, and for what? Like, because some idiot, can't get along.
Thank
I mean,
you.
it's just, I mean, I don't think people understand, like, you know but I read a lot. I'm a history buff, and one of the things that I mean, I hope we would never ever go through that kind of thing to anybody. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies.
Me too. Thank you so much for taking time for the interview. And I wish you sincerely, I wish you all the best with your comedy career. And if you get a chance to tell Josh Blue that I have a brain injury, but I'm doing okay, you can tell him
I'll
that
tell
for
him.
me.
I'll tell
Say,
him.
you know
I'll tell
somebody
him.
that's got it worse than he does.
Yeah, I will. Very nice talking to you, Linda. It's really great. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I'm
Thank you
gonna
so
go.
much.
I'm gonna go today and put a bunch of paragraphs on the post how I feel about talking to you, and it's a very plain interview format. But in
Yeah.
3 days, the sitcom version will come out. You will look like you're on Saved by the Bell when I get done with you.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
send it to you, and then you can share it with
Yeah.
all your people. Thank you
If
so
there's any
much.
way we could get rid of that fly, there's a fly flying around me, bothering me.
I know how to do that. I have this lamp. Let me come over there and
Uh,
hit him with my lamp.
yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry about your
Thank you.
fly bugging you.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye.
Have a great rest of the
You
thank
too.
you. Bye.
Say hi to your wife.
I will. Thank you. Bye.
Everybody's talking at the comic spot. The comic spot.